Welcome, Junior Rangers. So my name is Claire Schuler. I'm a park ranger at Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site. I wanted to come to you today to talk about our Junior Ranger Day, which is the kickoff of National Park Week. So this is going to start today, Saturday, April 18th of 2020. As you might know, obviously most of the national parks are shut down due to the coronavirus. So it's really important to follow rules and regulations about keeping safe. In those situations, I wanted to make sure that you understand that the National Park Service Junior Rangers are still available at some of the national parks online. So just to give you an example of some of those, we have some printed off. We've got different ones from different areas. Obviously, you're going to want to go to websites, nps.gov, and then you can go to individual sites, whichever is close to you maybe, or ones that you can't get to normally. So there are also a lot of virtual tours and digital online books that are being created as we speak. So it's really important to peruse the internet and see what's available and new in the National Park Service. So one of the things that I wanted to focus on, in addition to letting you all know that Junior Ranger booklets are available online, is not only are there over 400 national parks doing Junior Ranger books, and for each of those you can win a badge or a patch, a certificate, you get sworn in, but also there are special badges and patches that are offered not only during special times of the year. Right now we've got Pollinator Week coming up in June, so hopefully we'll all be open and back to work by then. But this is going to be a really good opportunity for you at home, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But there are other books, if you want to focus in right here. There are books that you can do in addition to normal Junior Ranger books and get badges such as the Angler Badge, Paleontology, Wilderness Badges, Sustainability Badges, Underwater Badges. So these are just a number of things that you can do, and these are offered at specific parks, but it's kind of like a scavenger hunt in its own sense. You kind of have to look for those because different parks have different things available. As I stated earlier, you've got the Pollinator Week coming up, and so one of the parks that we visited that had a Pollinator Week and also a Wildflower or Wilderness Week was Cedar Breaks. And so we got a special prize for visiting during that Flower Week. And so you're going to want to keep your eye open on that. And then they have their regular park badge. So these are things that you can do any time of the year. Even in winter, if you were to go on their website, it doesn't have to be, the Flower Week is specific for a time, but the national parks that have printable Junior Ranger books are going to be available year round. So if you wanted to do a Hawaii in the middle of winter, then those are going to be available to you. So one of the other things that I wanted to go over with you is how Junior Ranger books are set up. So normally, when you go into a national park or national monument, you're going to find a visitor center and ask the person at the desk, this might be a ranger, it might be a volunteer or an intern, about their Junior Ranger book. And like I said earlier, over 400 of these exist in the National Park Service. As far as I know, every single one of them starts off with the regulations and instructions on how to earn your badge or patch. Most of them are going to be separated by age, but they are going to be different depending on which park you're at. So some are separated by how many pages, some of them are separated by activities. Depending on which park you're at, you're going to want to talk to somebody or read the instructions to make sure that you are doing everything you need to do to obtain that patch. A lot of different parks have activities involved. So when you get there in the morning, or even go ahead and get on the internet ahead of time and figure out when those ranger programs are occurring so that you're going to be able to get that patch with no problem. A lot of parks will make amendments If you aren't able to get to a program, they're going to be able to substitute the movie or a different activity. And again, you're going to want to talk to them about that. Another thing that's very common in National Park Junior Ranger books is the arrowhead. So the arrowhead, which you can find on many of us, and also our badge, is an emblem that has a lot of significance. And so this activity is going to talk about that significance and what it means to the Park Service and what it also means to our visitors. There are a lot of variety in the National Park booklets. So as you go through them, you'll see different things like maps. You're going to see different options for doing artwork. Scavenger hunts are very popular in National Park Junior Ranger booklets. However, because we're on a stay-at-home, the scavenger hunts are usually site-specific. However, we are leaning now towards making online or digital books. So we might have to brainstorm, and you can actually help us in the comments below. You can tell us what part of the Junior Ranger books you like, and maybe you can help us brainstorm some ways to get out and still have a scavenger hunt in your own neck of the woods so that we can still have you involved. A lot of National Park Junior Ranger books talk about the 5 senses, not only in national parks that revolve around nature, but also history sites where they'll have you sit down and think about what you would have been thinking or how you would have felt if you were involved during that time period. A lot of National Park Junior Ranger books talk about safety and rules. Depending on where you're at in the country, these are going to change. So if you were near the water, then you were going to have obviously beach regulations. Maybe if you're hiking in the mountains or in an area where there are a lot of wildlife or wilderness, they're going to be talking about things that you need to do to keep safe wherever you're at. At the end, there's generally a pledge or a certificate that you can read, and that's going to explain to you the most important part of the Junior Ranger experience, which is getting sworn in. So some of them are at the back. And then another important part of the Junior Ranger experience is being a web ranger. So again, not all national parks have these. However, if you get onto the website, you can check out the opportunities to become a web ranger. And that's already set up in a lot of national parks, so that's something I would encourage you to do. And then most ranger certificates are going to have a space for you to put the passport stamp. So that's also a really fun opportunity if you're at a national park. So once again, I would encourage you guys to become a Junior Ranger. Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site is working on a new Junior Ranger book. So right now we don't have one available for printing, but hopefully within the next couple of months we'll have that ready to go. Tuskegee University, which is one of our sister sites, also has a Junior Ranger book. And a site that's a little bit further away, but still a sister site, is Selma to Montgomery, which even though we don't have a booklet for them online, it is still a really interesting park that you could go to their website and learn a lot. And I believe if you were to go online and Google any of our 3 sites, you would learn a lot about the history, even off our website. So as I stated earlier, we're interested to know your thoughts. So if you want to comment below, I would greatly encourage that. So have a great week, and if you are able to, come back on later this week and we'll hopefully have up a video highlighting the national parks.